Hello, this is Mrs. MacDonald, and I am your students teacher for the IR3 and IR4 class. Your student is in this class because they have yet to pass the ELA graduation benchmark, and that's what I'm here for, to help them gain those skills so that they'll be able to pass that test. We've already actually had 2 tests that we've taken, and we've had a number of students, so I'm going to show you. If you'll look right up there, all of those blue certificates on the wall are already students who have found success with one of these benchmark tests. There are 4 different ways to pass. You can pass it with a FAST, which we took like last week, I believe it was the 10th and the 11th. You can pass with a CLT, which we took like the very first week of school, maybe the end of the second, something like that. Some students took it. You can pass with an SAT and you can pass with an ACT. We will be taking all of those tests in the upcoming months. Seniors, for sure, during October, you'll be taking each of those tests. Juniors, you'll be taking several of those tests. It's a little different depending on what grade you're in. But that's the goal in this class, is to gain the skills so that your student can pass those tests. If you don't pass those tests, you do not get a high school diploma. So it is serious business. And for students to tell you that this is just a blow-off class or that they don't need to pay attention, no, they're wrong. And I need you to help me with that because they don't realize how important this is. If they don't pass as a junior, then they're back with me as a senior. If they don't pass as a senior, then they don't get the high school diploma. So what I try to do is help them build skills and confidence so that they can go into these tests ready to go and hopefully find that success that we need. And then we celebrate it big time. Each of those posters on the wall back there, we celebrated each one of those students in our class. Your student hopefully will be right behind us. Couple things. We have conference night. I'm not sure how that's going to show up, but it's conference night this Thursday from 4 to 6:30. I hope to meet all of you. I will be here. If you can't come, I get it. There's lots of different ways that we can communicate. Your student should have already told you this. This was on the syllabus, but maybe you missed it or your student didn't tell you. But I have a text group for my parents. If you text to the number 81010 with the message for juniors, it's at Mac JRPT, and for seniors, it's at Mac SRPT. That should be an S on the senior part. Sorry, my bad. Then you will be able to get into my text group. I send out messages. Hey, everybody should have sent you every student should have contacted you and given you their grade in their class this week, which should have happened this week. That was an assignment. They were supposed to give their conference night grade to their parent and also tell you about conference night. So if that didn't happen, you know your student got a 0 for that one. Those zeros add up. When you're looking at my class for your student, if it has 0, that means they didn't turn it in. Not that I didn't grade it yet, but that they didn't turn it in. I am very, very fast with the grading. It could be a couple of hours. If they sent it to me in first period, I might not get to it till third or fourth, but that would be the amount of time. I very rarely ever leave school in the afternoon until everything is graded. I make sure everything is graded at my lunch, which is 12:15. By then I've got it all done. And usually by the end of time when I leave school at 3:45, 4:30, whatever time I leave, everything is graded. Then again, before I go to sleep at night, almost everything. Once in a while, if I have something going on and I get in late or something and I'm just too tired, I don't do it. But for the most part, I would say probably 9 times out of 10, I've already graded before I go to sleep at night. So when your kid tells you, no, she just hadn't graded it, that's probably not true in my class. All right. Problem number 1. Next thing, if they have a 5 is my way of acknowledging that I see the student did the assignment. I'm acknowledging that you turned something in, but I'm telling you it's not ready for me. I'm not going to spend my time grading it. It's either number 1, many times they send me the wrong thing to the wrong assignment. I'm not going to grade that. Or they didn't finish, or they didn't complete it correctly. So they have learned, they know from me telling them in class, usually I put notes back or comments. Most of the time it's read the assignment because the details are very much all in the assignments. I try really hard to do that, to make it simple and easy so that students and you can see what is expected of them within the assignments. So if they have a 0 or a 5, you need to be on them and ask them, why are they not doing this? Some things have closed now because, we're into the fifth week of school now. So you can't just leave things open forever, but many things are open. So if you will, ask your student to show you their Canvas, ask them to open up to the assignments and then scroll through those assignments. If you see a bunch of zeros, hang tight with me. Obviously, that's the end of the day bell. If you see there's a bunch of assignments that have 5s and 0s, they have work to do. They can show you from their front screen on their phone every grade in every class. It shows up in little tiles. They can show you that. If I were a parent, I am a parent, but mine are all graduated. If I were in your shoes, I'd be asking my kid to show me that several times a week. Screenshot it and send it to me. The other thing many students do not have ready is their notebook. And you needed this by the second week of school. We spent an entire day putting them together. I invite students in during their lunches. If they want to come at lunch, I'll give them a pass. They can get their lunch, come back in my room and work on things in my class, whether they have 4th or 5th lunch. I have a class 4th, but it's small and we can work around that. They can work in the back of the room while I'm working with my students, but everybody needs a notebook and their notebook has to have their name on the top and the bottom, and they have to have tabs. They have to have their name and their period on the back. This is my sample notebook. Each week, we will do lots of things in this notebook, but one thing in particular that you could ask your student to do is we will do a grade chart every Friday. Looks like this. It lists all their classes, all their subjects, and then their grades, their numerical grades. Every Friday, we will do this. This is just my sample chart. If you want to ask your kid to send that to you after they submit it to me on Fridays, that's a perfect thing for you to do to be able to know where your student is. Are they doing what they need to do? All right. Main thing right now is grades are not good. If your kid's grade is good, thank you. There is absolutely no reason to have anything less than a B in my class. The way I grade things, it just is. They need to have at least a B. So if they have even a C or D or definitely an F, it's on them and they have work to do. So I'm going to count on you guys to help me with that. Let's get them used to doing that. Let's get them in the sync of doing it. So then we end up having a good year because they're going to continue to do this and then they'll have more gains with their skills, and hopefully they'll end up passing one of these tests soon. If you have questions, please let me know. I do have a Google Voice number. Some of you may have already gotten text from me, but if you have not or you need it, this is my number. It's 813-406-0182. Feel free to text me anytime you have questions. Did my kid show up in class? Was my kid late to class? Is my kid caught up on everything? If you send me a message like that, I promise to answer as quickly as I can. Thank you for your time. Make sure your kid turns in something to prove that you watched this. This is for a grade. Thank you.